Damaging winds capable of tearing apart structures are taking aim at Nebraska right now, and roughly 1.6 million people sit inside the threat zone stretching from the western plains into Iowa. Today's Doppler score is 5.8 out of 10, a moderate threat day where wind is the headline hazard. Before this briefing is done, I am going to tell you the exact city and the exact hour I think the most destructive storms arrive. If this channel has ever helped you stay ahead of a storm, hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a briefing like this one. My read on this setup is straightforward. The strongest winds in the upper atmosphere are aimed directly at the zone where storms will fire this afternoon, and that alignment is what turns a strong thunderstorm day into a damaging wind day. On your screen now is the jet stream animation. Watch the speed maximum sliding from the east across the upper Midwest. That river of fast air overhead is positioned to energize any storm cluster that develops across Nebraska and push it northeast at highway speeds. Now look at the national forecast chart. A storm system centered near western Kansas is driving a cold front into the southern plains, with the severe weather zone hatched right across Nebraska, Iowa, and Kansas. Storms forming along and ahead of that front will have the fuel and the lift to organize quickly. The one variable I am watching is whether convection fires early enough west of the threat zone to rob energy from the main event. If that happens, the wind threat shifts later and coverage drops. The wind probabilities are the most important thing on your screen right now, and they tell a very specific story about who gets hit hardest. Here is the Day 1 wind map. A 30% wind probability with significant hatching sits right over south-central Nebraska, centered near the Nebraska-Kansas border. That hatching means winds strong enough to collapse outbuildings, snap power poles, and send debris airborne at 65 miles per hour or higher. The broader 15% zone stretches east through Iowa and into northern Missouri. If you are anywhere in that corridor, unsecured outdoor items become projectiles tonight. This map shows the Day 1 hail outlook. The 30% hail zone with significant hatching is centered around the Colorado, Nebraska, Kansas border. That tells you hail 2 inches in diameter or larger is on the table, big enough to shatter windshields and destroy roof shingles in minutes. The 15% zone stretches into Iowa and northern Missouri. If your vehicle is not in a garage by late afternoon, it may not look the same by morning. Now looking at the Day 1 tornado map. A 5% tornado probability is focused on the same area we discussed for large hail. A brief tornado or two cannot be ruled out, but wind damage is the primary threat today. If a tornado warning is issued in your area, go to your basement or the lowest interior room immediately. But the hazard you are most likely to encounter tonight is straight-line wind. Now I want to show you exactly which cities fall inside these risk zones, because if your city is on this list, your Saturday evening plans need to change. At the center of the enhanced risk, the highest category on today's map, are Kearney and North Platte, Nebraska. These two cities face the most concentrated wind and hail threat on the board. Moving outward into the slight risk zone, Omaha and Lincoln, Nebraska, along with Des Moines and Sioux City, Iowa are looking at organized severe storms capable of significant wind gusts and large hail. On your screen now is the model radar forecast showing where storms are expected to develop and how they move over the next 18 hours. Initial storm development fires across western Nebraska between 3 and 5 p.m. Central Time, tracking northeast through the Kearney and North Platte corridor during the peak heating hours. By 10 p.m., that line is pushing through Omaha and Lincoln with significant wind gusts. Overnight, weakening storms slide into Iowa, reaching Des Moines between midnight and 2 a.m. My call. Kearney, Nebraska sees the worst of this between 6 and 9 p.m. Central. That is where the 30% wind probability and the significant hatching overlap with peak atmospheric energy. That is your bullseye. No severe weather watches have been issued yet, but I expect the Storm Prediction Center to post a severe thunderstorm watch for central Nebraska by mid-afternoon, likely between 2 and 4 p.m. Central. Tomorrow carries its own enhanced risk, and here is why you cannot let your guard down. The Day 2 categorical map shows another orange enhanced zone over Nebraska up into southern Minnesota, with the slight risk stretching from Colorado to Wisconsin. The Day 2 tornado outlook is the one that grabs my attention. A 10% tornado probability with significant hatching is focused near the South Dakota and Nebraska border into southwestern Minnesota, meaning strong, potentially long-track tornadoes become a real possibility tomorrow afternoon. The Day 2 hail map shows a 30% zone with significant hatching, so the large hail threat reloads. The Day 2 wind threat shifts northeast, with a 15% zone stretching from Kansas to Wisconsin. I will have a full dedicated briefing on tomorrow's setup. Monday keeps the enhanced risk alive and models are indicating it could be a significant, severe weather day. And Tuesday shows a 15% severe probability in a corridor from Oklahoma northeast through Michigan, though confidence that far out is limited, and that could shift significantly. On your screen now is the excessive rainfall outlook from the Weather Prediction Center. Today and tomorrow carry marginal flood risk across central Nebraska and the upper Midwest. By Monday, that upgrades to a slight risk centered over Iowa and northern Missouri, meaning rainfall rates could overwhelm drainage and cause flash flooding. If you are in that corridor Monday, do not drive through standing water. Period. On the backside of this system, the national forecast charts show mixed precipitation, including snow across the northern Rockies and into Montana and Wyoming. If you are in that high country, a late-season chill is coming behind the front, with temperatures dropping sharply by Monday morning. And for the good news, New England is sitting this entire week out. Boston is looking at 78 degrees and sunshine today, a perfect Saturday with nothing on the radar. Enjoy it. Doppler tracking. Doppler out.